That PE teacher in Santa Fe is benched right now for unnecessary roughness. He will not be in the classroom today. Instead, he is on paid suspension accused of pushing not just one, but two kids in class. And we have the video of all of it. This video is from Aspen Magnet School. Take a look. And police say it shows the teacher here on the right grabbing the student, shoving him, and then walking away while that boy kind of slowly falls to the floor. And a little after this, police say the same teacher went after another student.
At first, she seems to avoid him, and then he pushes towards her and sets her off onto the wall as well.
You heard that right. A male teacher, supposedly from police say, pushing a female student. The school district found out about this last week, put the teacher on leave. It says any kind of physical contact between students and teachers is definitely frowned upon. Police say the other students that told them this kind of horseplay, as they call it, is not uncommon for the teacher. More ballot counting shows a slight lead in a very tight race for Albuquerque's public school board. Election workers counted provisional, absentee, and those hand-tallied ballots yesterday for the District 6 race. It's for the East Side and the East Mountains. Donald Duran here now has 11 more votes than the incumbent, David Robbins. Another incumbent, Paula Maez, is still behind by 300 votes. She had to go against Robbins because of redistricting.
And the Albuquerque Public School District is thanking voters who overwhelmingly approved more money to fix up aging schools. Voters passed the mill levy and bond issue, which totals $368 million. The money will be used to renovate and rebuild dozens of schools across the school district.
First and foremost, it's a great thing for our kids. It says something about a community, and I've said this ever since I've been in Albuquerque. When people build schools and churches instead of banks and shopping centers, it says something about a community.
Superintendent Winston Brooks says each renovation creates hundreds of construction jobs for the city. It looks like UNM's former president is a step closer to being off the hook on his prostitution charges. Yesterday, the state Supreme Court upheld a judge's ruling that coincides with what state law says right now, that a website is not a physical house of prostitution. Prosecutors wanted it to be. They say F. Chris Garcia ran Southwest Companions, a website that links Johns to prostitutes.
All I know is I have a very happy client who was tormented for a long time, unnecessarily, who was factually innocent.
Wouldn't say dead in the water. We have to reevaluate and decide what we're going to do. There may be charges we can bring on another avenue, or we may decide not to do that.
State Representative Tim Lewis has introduced a bill that would make using a website or forum to promote prostitution a felony, but that's only for future cases, not Garcia's.
Some very serious stories are going around now about Lobo football coach Bob Davie, but you have to consider where these are coming from. An anonymous letter.
Probably the same reaction it's been through my 35 years of being in coaching and broadcasting, that anonymous letters are anonymous letters.
Well, this anonymous letter says it's from seniors on last year's team, and it says Coach Davie gives harsher punishments to black players than he does for white players, and that he is tougher on the guys Mike Loxley recruited than he is on his own. Plus, the letter goes on to say that Davie got into a fight with a black player in the locker room after the Lobos lost to Boise State last fall, and that players went to the athletic director about this, but nothing happened.
Do you release a statement on an anonymous letter? I mean, we might be releasing statements every day if we started releasing and addressing anonymous opinions on something.
Athletic Director Paul Krebs did release a statement about this letter saying, quote, "We firmly believe, based on the information we have and the fact that this letter was sent anonymously, that the allegations are unfounded and untrue." Mr. Krebs also specifically says no players went to him about a fight after a game. Well, now to the Lobo men's basketball team. The guys keep on winning, and they're also winning back fans. In fact, as many people are packing the pit now as they did 10 years ago. We're talking about 15,000 per game. And when fans wear red and pack the stands, the school banks some green.
This year we projected about 4.2 million, and we are just under 4.3 million right now.
All right, UNM doesn't just make money from the tickets, but also from parking, food, drinks, and more. The Lobos are 15th in the country in the polls right now. And that's also about how they're doing for attendance, with schools such as Maryland and Michigan State, two very big basketball schools in the same league as them.
At the legislative session in Santa Fe, a bill to crack down on where people on welfare can get cash from their EBT cards is now on the way to the state Senate. You see, the bill would prevent people from getting money at bars, liquor stores, and strip clubs. This is after News 13's Kim Holland's special assignment report this week showing how some welfare recipients were doing just that and probably spending money meant for food and rent on possibly booze and strippers. If legislators don't pass this bill, it could cost the state $5 million from the federal government. One bill to ban texting and driving in New Mexico is a thing of the past, but there is another one for legislators to look at. A committee in the state Senate shot down Peter Wirth's bill that would have given people caught texting and driving a $25 ticket for the first time and a $50 one for the second time. But a similar bill is still going around the House right now. All right, here's another big talker. The U.S. Postal Service is tightening its belt, and that has resulted in cutting Saturday mail delivery.
You know, it could be a problem for folks who depend on that extra day of mail to get very critical things they need, such as Social Security checks. News 13's David Romero is live at the main post office in downtown Albuquerque. So, David, is this going to be a huge problem?
It could be, Matt. Well, for most of us, it won't be because with the click of a mouse, we take care of depositing checks and transferring funds. But for those who depend on a physical check coming in the mail, this could be a problem because the Postal Service is announcing that they're going to cut back on delivering on Saturdays. Now, we want to pass along some information. Luckily, this won't affect Social Security checks because the government is saying it's making everyone starting in March do direct deposit. Now, back to the Postal Service cuts. The Postal Service says starting the week of August 5th, it will no longer have regular mail delivery on Saturdays, just packages only. And think of this, if there's a holiday on the following Monday, that would delay it another day. At the Varela Senior Center, patrons took news of the change in stride.
Like I said, they have to do what they have to do, and it's fine.
I think that mail delivery on Saturday is a waste. You know, myself personally, it's not going to affect me. It's not. Monday through Friday is fine.
And again, the Social Security Administration is going to require everybody that receives a check to make it go in via direct deposit. That's starting in March. Now, at places like Varela Senior Center, they offer computer classes to people who attend there, and that helps them learn the ways of doing things like direct deposit and getting more familiar with conveniences of things that make it not so reliable on physical checks and putting them in anymore. Matt, back to you.
You got it. Thanks for the information this morning, David. And you talked to my friend, Mary Lucas, there. By the way, just to confirm one more time, Social Security checks not going to be affected by this because you have to have them direct deposited starting in March. And the Postal Service says it's going to keep delivering to the post office boxes on Saturdays. And if your post office is usually open on Saturdays, well, it's going to stay that way. Later today, some of Albuquerque City Councilors are set to talk about giving thousands of extra dollars to a film event that's bringing Robert Redford to the Duke City. Councilor Ray Garduno wants to give $10,000 to the Albuquerque Film and Media Experience. It's a big film fest that is going on in Nob Hill in June, and this comes as Movie Maker magazine is naming Albuquerque as the #8 city in the whole country to make movies in 2013. So with the way that sounds, it looks like it could be very busy for the film industry here.
That's always a good thing, I think.